Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to build your own teleporter, and I've made these two little teleporters here, and I've kind of designed them in a cool way. Instead of just having little plates on the ground, I decided to make them actual portal looking things. So if we run this, as you can see, I also made it so that they actually flicker and change. That's going to be a secondary objective of me teaching you. I'm first going to teach you how they actually work. So let's go into play solo and let me show you that they in fact do work. So let's go through this, and we are put out into this other teleporter, and if we go back in, then we're at the other one. And if we try and go back in too fast, it won't let us go, because that's how I have these set up. If we were to let them go, if we were to let them teleport you as soon as you touched them, then they'd be teleporting you back and forth, without any order, and you wouldn't be able to get out. I don't think you'd kind of be trapped in the teleporting cycle, if you know what I mean. So let's go through there, and now I'm going to show you how they work. So first of all, you need to know that these two teleporter blocks, they are grouped together in one model. The parts on the outside, the stone blocks, those are just for decoration. They're not even a part of the model. But we do have these two blocks right here, and so they have what's called a bool value inside them, which I'll get into later, and the style script, which makes them flicker and stuff. It's not needed, but it looks cool. So, and then they have the teleport script, which actually makes it work. So here, by the way, I'm using a different font than usual. If you like this font, I think it's called Tamaha. I think that's the one I'm using. I'm not sure. I also have the text big so that you can see the text better. Because I know the video, even though it's 720p, it's still not the best quality for some reason. I can't figure out how to get it to work right. But anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know any ideas of how I could make this more clear. I don't know if there's a font you like, I'll try and use that. But anyway, so here's our script, and we're going to start. By the way, also, this is not a continuation of Roblox scripting for beginners. This is just a side video. And if you haven't watched any of my beginner scripting Roblox tutorials, then go ahead and watch those. If you go to my channel, then you'll be able to get to them. And let's get started. So basically, we have these are called tags up here. Tags are just so that you can instead of because we're gonna be using other in the code pretty often, so instead of typing script.parent.parent .pink portal every single time, by the way, we're looking inside the script for the blue portal, we can just type other, because that's what we called it, and then instead of typing script.parent every single time, we can just type this. And so that's what these are for. They're not necessary, but they are very useful. And so now we have our connection line right here. And if you've watched my lava brick tutorials, then you'll understand how this works. Basically, this waits for the script parent to be touched. In fact, we could also replace this with this instead of script.parent, because we have a tag up here. So anyway, this waits for the brick to be touched, and when it is touched, it's going to fire the teleport function, which is defined starting right here, and it has an argument called part, and that part is whatever part touched the portal. And the car, short for character, is going to be the part's parent, and so that's going to be the character model, because we'll be using car here kind of often. And so the next part checks just to make sure that you know, because we need to make sure that we need to make sure that we don't have the character teleport back and forth over and over really fast, and so we make sure that this .ready.value is equal to true. Now let's go back over here. The blue portal, this blue portal has the ready value, and a bool value has a bool value has can have two different settings. It can be true or false, and as you can see, that's right here. And we use this bool value because we're going to be wanting to change this value. We're going to be wanting to change the other portal's value, and we can't have just a variable inside the script. That doesn't work because we are unable to tell. The other scripts would be unable to tell what's going on. So anyway, it's basically, we use these so that we can have a way for the scripts to communicate with each other. And so both portals have a ready value, and when that ready value is set to true, then it will allow you to teleport through the portal. And when it's set to false, you will not be able to teleport to it. And once you walk through a portal, it will wait 2 seconds. As you can see right here, it's going to, after this is run, I'm going to go over this in a second. After that's run, it's going to set the other portal's ready value to false so that you cannot teleport through it for another couple of seconds. And then it's also going to teleport the character to the portal's position, and I'll go over that too. And then it'll wait 2 seconds and then set the other portal's ready value to true. It's pretty conceptual, you know. It might be a little bit confusing, but you'll understand it eventually. So anyway, let's start back here. So this .touch connect teleport. So when this is touched, when the portal is touched, it's going to fire this function, and then it's going to set the character to the part's parent, and then it's going to check to see if the humanoid is there. That kind of makes sure that it's actually a character. In fact, we actually almost don't even need this, but you know, we'll have it just in case. So it's going to check if there's a humanoid just to make sure it's a character, and it's going to check if there is a torso, because the character might maybe the arm touched the portal, but the torso does not happen to be there. And it's going to make sure that this portal's ready value is true. We could also do this is equal to true, but that's not necessary. It just shortens the code if we do this. And we also, whenever you're working with those bool values, or any of those values for that matter, you're going to want to make sure to have the dot value. So if we just said this dot ready, that wouldn't make sense to the code. We need to have dot value because the value has another value property. It's like Inception. I don't know. But yeah, that's how it works. And so let me pause the video real quick. I gotta do something. Okay, I'm back. So just pretend that never happened. Anyway, the other dot, so it also so it checks to make sure that this dot ready value is equal to true, and then it once if all these conditions are true, then it's going to teleport the player. So this is kind of self-explanatory. Other.ready.value equals false. It sets other, which is the pink portal. It's going to set its ready value to false, so that when the other script, because the pink portal script is pretty much identical to this one, and I'll show you the small difference later. So when that script runs, because as soon as the player is teleported, it counts as actually touching that brick, the portal, and so it's going to, but since its ready value is equal to false, this if statement right here, this is going to return false, so this is not going to run until another 2 seconds. So we're going to say So it sets the other. So when this script runs, when this function is fired, it has this condition checker, this if statement, and then if all those are true, then it'll set this to false, set the other ready value to false, and then it's going to teleport the character. Now let me explain. C-frame, okay, C-frame is used for the actual position and the direction of the rotation of a part, and so it's setting the character's torso C-frame to the other, which is the pink portal, to the other .C-frame, and the C-frame is kind of, the position. We don't want to use like .position, even though that's a valid property. It's going to end up placing the player on top of the portal, so we're gonna want to use C-frame, and then it's gonna wait 2 seconds and then set the other's ready value to true, so that the player can once again teleport through the portal. Now if we look at the pink portal right here in the Explorer, if we look at its teleport thing, the only difference besides this thing, which we changed in the other script, this .touched, anyway, the only difference here is the blue portal, so the other is equal to the blue portal instead of the pink portal, and so yeah, that is how it works. So this is pretty much identical to the blue portal, except for the other portal is the blue portal instead. So now that we've done that, let's go over the styling of the portals that make them look cool. Okay, so here we're looking in our blue portal style script right here, and basically what it does, this is a while loop, and here's another tag that I was talking about before. Instead of having to write scripts.parent every single time, we can just type portal. And so what it does is it runs this loop forever, and like I've explained before in other videos, I think you always want to have a wait in in a while loop, otherwise it might crash your computer. Maybe not, well, not your computer, but it'll crash Roblox. And well, it sometimes will. Sometimes it might just break the script. I don't know. It's just unpredictable, and you always want to have a wait. But anyway, in this case, our wait is going to be 0.1. Let's do 0.1 just to be consistent with the rest of the code. So every 0.1 seconds, it's going to give us 2 random numbers, and because what this does is the script changes the reflectance and the transparency. It just makes it kind of random. So every 0.1 seconds, it's going to change the transparency and the reflectance. It's going to adjust it up or down just a little bit randomly. So anyway, it gives us 2 random numbers. So if rand a, so it's going to say rand a equals math.random2, and math.random, if you give it 1 argument, it's going to give you a number between 1 and the number that you gave it. So math.random with the argument of 2 is going to give us either 1 or 2. And if we had like 3, it's going to give us either 1, 2, or 3. So let's set that back to 2. And then, so we're using rand A for the transparency, for randomly changing the transparency, and rand B for randomly changing the reflectance. And so once we have those 2 random numbers, we're going to say, okay, well, if rand A is equal to 1 and portal.transparency is larger than 3, this makes sure that it doesn't go too far below 3, or not 3, 0.3, because we don't want it to go into the negatives or anywhere below that. We don't want it to become solid. So that's what this is for. As long as it's bigger than that, then it will do this. It's going to set the portal's transparency equal to the portal's transparency minus 0.02, so it changes it just a little bit. Otherwise, if rand A is equal to 2, because the only other option is going to be 2, it's going to change the oh yeah, it also makes sure that the transparency is smaller than 0.8 because we don't want it to get too transparent. We don't want it to go completely invisible. It's going to set the transparency to plus 0 because the bigger the transparency gets, the more transparent it gets. I kind of wish they, instead of saying transparency, I wish the property was opaque. That just makes a little bit more sense to me, but that's not how it is. Because opaque is the opposite of transparent. And so the next step, it does the exact same thing except with the reflectance. I'll probably have the free models of this of this whole portal thing in the description. And so hopefully this all makes sense to you. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you all later.